Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4. Now look at Part 1.
Part 1.
Anna receives a phone call from her friend Peter. You'll hear an extract from their conversation.
First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 6.
Hello.
Hi, Anna. Look, I'm sorry to bother you so late. I just wanted to ask you a little favour.
Oh, sure. Well, I'd like to help out. Anything you want.
Look, I'm going to London for a week.
Oh, how wonderful. Oh, I wish I could get away on holiday.
Look, I got a problem, though. I got some cats, and, I need a home for them.
Oh, well, the only thing is, how many of them are there?
Well, there's only 2.
Oh, well, that's okay then. I think I still have a box, but it's pretty worn out and a bit dirty. Not too nice, you know.
Well, I think that'll be all right. I'm sure it'll be fine as long as you clean it up. I mean, you will have to clean it up because, well, I didn't want to mention this earlier because perhaps, but one of them is pregnant, you see. One of the cats is pregnant and she's going to be delivering pretty soon.
Oh, no. I'm a little nervous about it now. I mean, I don't know if I can cope with that.
Of course you can. Look, I mean, they're okay. She looks after her babies. She had 6 the last time. You'll love them.
6? Wow. That's just a little too many. I mean, I don't think I could cope with that, I mean. And how do I tell when they're due, you know, when they're going to be delivered?
Very simple. You see, the mother starts spending more time in her box and starts meowing a lot. You will know that she's ready to have the babies.
Well, what kind of food do I have to give them?
Very simple. They don't need anything, and the mother nurses them for about 5 to 6 weeks. You just give the mother cat food and milk.
Well, does it have to be hot?
No, just fresh milk.
Anyway, why do you keep them? I mean, don't they cause you an awful lot of work and trouble?
Oh no, they're so sweet. They're so beautiful. You're going to just love them when you see them. They're so nice. Look, the mother also needs some fresh milk every day.
Well, how often do I have to give her milk?
Just 2 or 3 times a day.
Well, here's an idea. Why don't you bring what they need? Then I won't have to worry about it.
Okay, I could do that.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 7 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
Listen carefully to the following talk and choose the correct answer for each question.
When the Europeans first came to the American continent more than 400 years ago, there were relatively few diseases and viruses on the new continent. During that time, however, plagues and diseases that killed thousands were floating around Europe. Eventually, some Europeans developed immunity to the unsanitary world of industrialization. When they came to the American continent, however, many of the Native Americans had never been exposed to these viruses and hence did not develop immunity to them. By sharing the same food and water sources, many Native Americans contracted the European diseases. At a time when medical vaccines were still in their early stages, this led to the tragic death of thousands. The Native Americans gradually developed immunity to these diseases and were able to interact with the new explorers and colonists. They traded everyday items with each other, which led to the hybridization of these two cultures. One enterprising European colonist had an interesting idea. Why not create a trading post where the two groups could sell their newly combined works of art? Eventually, a post was set up, and the distinctly American works became known throughout the country for their unique styles. The trading post continued for a couple more decades until it eventually faded away. The works of that time period can now be seen at the Smithsonian National Museum. Until very recently, some tribes were still making pieces of art and selling them in their local trading posts.
That is the end of Part 1. Now turns to Part 2.
Part 2.
You are going to hear a talk given by Madeline. She is going to introduce the recreational facilities on campus and in town.
First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 16.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name's Madeline Stewart, and I'm here to tell you about the recreational facilities available on campus, and also to tell you something about what the town has to offer. You may already know that your Students' Union membership also includes membership of the Sports Union, which provides a range of sporting and recreational facilities on campus, much the same as those in most British universities. The Sports Union has football, tennis, and cricket teams in local competitions. And really, most sports are catered for in some way on campus, even if they're just social matches. In the building itself, there are fitness classes and a full gym, including weights. The Sports Union can also provide cheap tickets to some major sporting events. And to keep you up to date with everything available, there's a weekly newsletter distributed around the campus. You should check this to find out the names and phone numbers of the contact people for each sport or activity you are interested in. Yes, did you have a question?
Yes, apart from what you've just said, does the Sports Union offer individual help in any of its activities, for example, in getting fit and healthy?
Yes, we do. The Sports Union has a fitness assessment clinic every Friday, staffed by the resident sports trainer, who can provide advice on the best program for you and refer you to various charts. I'm sure you all realize that for any medical assessment or health problem, you should go to the University Medical Service. The sports trainer can also advise you on a suitable training program using the weights. And now on to Ashbury.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 17 to 20.
And now on to Ashbury. For a town of its size, Ashbury has some unusually good leisure and sporting facilities, most of which are near the center of town and easily reached by bus from this campus. There's a new, well, almost new, Olympic-sized swimming pool. That's not quite in the central town area, but it's only a 5-minute walk from the bus stop. Above the pool, there's a high-tech fitness center that any of you more serious fitness lovers would need to check out. Then, in the center of town, there's a sporting complex called the Anderson Center, which contains squash courts and facilities for a number of other indoor sports, such as basketball. And just around the corner from the Anderson Center, in the main street there, is an indoor bowling alley. All of these facilities are listed in the weekly newsletter, so I encourage you all to look through it and...
That is the end of part 2. Now turns to part 3.
Part 3.
You'll hear a man giving a short talk to new students about their university sports centre.
First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 24. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
Good morning to all you new students here at Wesley University, and thank you for coming to this talk on the Sports Centre. My name is Mr. Mike Finn. Later, I'll take you around the centre on a tour, but right now, I'll just let you know what we have to offer and how you can become a member. We are at present in the main reception of the Sports Centre. Behind me, we have the main sports hall, where a myriad of different sports take place. We have football, hockey, basketball, badminton, martial arts and netball, to name but a few. We are also planning cricket nets and trampolines in the near future. Aerobics, modern dance and spinning are also held in the main sports hall, and yoga classes are coming soon. There is a large schedule up on the wall behind me detailing when each sport is on. It also gives details of which sports you have to pay extra for in order to join in. Above us, and overlooking the main sports hall, we have our fitness room, which has all the modern weight training machines and aerobic training machines that you could wish for. At present, there are no running machines, as there have been a few accidents with these, and we are waiting for the university to work out its insurance as regards these before we get them back again. Round the back of the main sports hall are our 3 squash courts. These can be reserved at the reception. The one important thing with the squash courts is that you must not wear outdoor or black marking soles on them. You will be fined and suspended from the centre if you do. Next to that, we have the provisional site of the swimming pool. Details of that are posted on the Sports Centre newsletter, which is always available on the notice board. We hope that it won't be too long in coming. Outside the hall, we have playing fields where you can play football, rugby, cricket and hockey. You don't need to be a member of the Sports Centre to enjoy these playing fields, but you might need to join the individual sports clubs. Membership dues for these clubs are not usually very high, and it always includes insurance cover, so don't worry. You won't need to take out a bank loan to join them all.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 25 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 25 to 30.
Now let me tell you how to become a student member of the Sports Centre. First of all, any student who wishes to be a student member of the Wesley University Sports Centre must be studying a course at the university, part-time or full-time, and be a member of the Students' Union. So if you wish to join, you must bring your NUS card with you before we can process your application. You must come to the Sports Hall reception between 9 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. from Tuesday to Saturday. The membership secretary does not come in on Sundays and Mondays. You must present your NUS card, fill out the application form and pay the subscription. The student subscription for this year is £15. There is usually a joining fee of £5 to join the Sports Centre, but this does not apply to student members. You can pay by cash or cheque, but we don't take credit cards. You used to have to bring 2 passport photos of yourself, but we've gone digital now, so we can take your photo ourselves with our camera at reception. Once you have your Sports Centre membership card, you have the right to use the facilities at any time that we are open. You will need to bring your membership card every time you wish to use the facilities, or you will not be allowed to enter. This is part of our insurance agreement. If you need a replacement card at any time, you will be charged a replacement fee of £5, but you will not need to pay the subscription of £15 again. You may book courts for sports such as squash and badminton, but you may only do this in person, not on the phone, and you will need the membership card number on your membership card, so don't forget that card. We are open 7 days a week, though opening times vary. Monday through to Saturday we are open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday we are open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, any questions so far?
That is the end of part 3. Now turns to part 4.
Part 4. You are going to hear a talk about some British customs. Listen to the talk and complete the notes below.
First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good morning. My name is Marsha Smith, a counsellor here at the Student Services section of the university, and this morning I'd like to talk to you about visiting a British home. This may help you to cope well with your study and social life in Britain. There is a commonly quoted saying in Britain, "An Englishman's home is his castle," which sums up the importance we give to our own bit of private territory. If you are living in a British home, or are invited to visit or stay with someone, it is important to act thoughtfully. For example, be punctual for meals and, if you know you have to miss one, let your host know as soon as possible. Check whether it is convenient for others in a house when you wish to take a bath or wash and dry laundry. And unless your host employs someone to do the housework, you are expected to make your own bed and keep your room clean and tidy yourself. If you don't have a door key, remember to make arrangements if you intend to be out late, and keep your hosts informed of your whereabouts so they don't worry. These suggestions apply whether you're a guest or a lodger, and will help the household to run smoothly. If you're staying as a guest of a British family, or even visiting for one meal, it is customary to take a small gift of flowers, chocolates, or something to drink. Don't spend too much, as this could embarrass your hosts. If you're staying for several days as a guest, it is usual to give a small present when you leave. Usually, you will get onto first-name terms with people you meet quite naturally and quickly. If you're unsure, continue to use their family name, surname, and title until they ask you to use their first name. Older people, and those with whom you have a more formal relationship, may prefer to stick to surnames, for example, Dr. Smith or Mrs. Smith. If you're going to eat with British people or to stay with a British family, you may want to know if there are things that they normally do or don't do at the table. Rather than worry too much about rules, you may like to watch other people and copy what they do. It also helps to understand a few customs first. Both at home and in restaurants, people normally wait until everyone has got their food before they start eating. However, they will start before this if someone says, "Please don't wait," or "Don't let it get cold." When people have started, they keep their cutlery, knives, forks and spoons on the plate when they are not using them, and leave them on the plate when they finish the course. For each course, different cutlery is used. You may also notice that people don't usually spend much time at the table talking, drinking and smoking. In fact, after dinner at home, it's fairly common for everyone to leave the table together and have coffee in the living room. If you are staying with a family or visiting informally, it's usual to offer to help with household chores, for example, clearing the table and washing up the dishes after a meal. Even men are expected to offer, though you may not be accepted. At a more formal meal, however, the host won't normally expect guests to help.
That is the end of part 4.
That is the end of the test. You now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to your IELTS listening answer sheet.